Hello, thank you for checking out our call to action presentation for Louisiana in support of the 2022 datums. I hope you will be inspired to participate and contribute to the ongoing GPS on benchmark effort. 20 years ago, C4G began measuring and studying the tectonics and subsidence in Louisiana in earnest. Coincidentally, in 2001, NGS, NOAA, reported to Congress that the benchmarks in Louisiana were obsolete and inaccurate. C4G maintains a network of 120 cores across the state and the Gulf Coast that provides excellent ties to the NSRS. NGS is developing a new, very accurate datum for the NSRS. In order to bring Louisiana's benchmarks up to the accuracy we deserve, requires GPS ties to the traditional benchmarks. That is our invitation and challenge for you with these presentations. The GPS on benchmarks for Louisiana needs you. This is the cover for the report that NOAA made to Congress in 2001, and a quotation from it is that the problems with historic surveys, land movement, and sea level rise have made the current vertical geodetic datum in Louisiana obsolete, inaccurate, and unable to ensure safety. One result of this was essentially Louisiana had no official benchmarks for a time. In March 2013, NGS made a presentation on its 2010 GNSS height modernization project in southern Louisiana. NGS concluded that the problem in Louisiana is too large for NGS to handle alone, and that we all need to work together to get better height results. They also recommended partnering with locals like the C4G, LSRC to leverage existing resources, and that a plan is needed to be created to move forward if we expect to improve heights in the 2022 vertical datum, which will be based on a gravimetric GEOID. NGS needs Louisiana to pitch in. They pointed out that the GEOID 12A model produced at 95% confidence level about 4 to 8 centimeters in Louisiana. That's a 1.5 3 inches. This is a problem since the goal of the NGS GravD project is to establish a 1 centimeter geoid for much of the country. 3/8 are better. We all need to work together to get better height results. That partnership includes you. The project is broken down in 3 basic steps: recover, observe, and report. For recover, use the GPS on benchmarks web map to identify marks, or the NGS Data Explorer to look up the description of the benchmarks, and follow instructions on the recover page to find benchmarks. Second step, observe. Follow the instructions on the observe page and they will tell you how to record the field notes, take digital photographs, and to collect the GPS observations. It's really pretty straightforward, if it is a bit time consuming. And lastly, perhaps one of the most important parts, is to report what you find. Use the MARC recovery form to submit your recovery notes and photos and share your OPUS solutions. It's the sharing of the solutions that makes it work. All of the highlighted points here are available on the NGS website. This illustrates the GPS on benchmarks web page. The dots illustrate the priority marks that are identified automatically by existing metadata in their database. Observations on these points will benefit the transition tool they're developing, with observations that will be complete through December 2021. The map is dynamic so that as marks are observed, others may pop up in their place. So if you have a benchmark that's important to you or to your company, by all means, observe it and submit it. Do so at least twice to ensure that it's included in the 2022 datum, and depending on its history, in the transition tool that's being developed presently. Why observe twice? Well, it's to make sure that the 2 GPS observations agree with each other, and therefore make it a valid observation at this time. And so it's a matter of quality control. This illustrates the NGS Data Explorer map. I've zoomed it into a small town of Manny, Louisiana. Notice the small circles and triangles, some black, some white. They each represent a mark that's in the NGS database. Clicking on one will give access to that mark's data set that can be used to determine when it was last visited and how to follow it. The benchmark reconnaissance and recovery has another list of steps to ensure successful GPS on benchmark efforts. If you try to take care of these before you go out in the field, they will save you time and help ensure success by doing research on your desktop. And they have reconnaissance materials. You might use aerial photographs, hunting for the benchmarks, again online, and how to observe and record, but mostly how to plan for your survey operation. The benchmark reconnaissance recovery page contains recommendations for benchmark recovery. It's a great place to double check your procedure to ensure success and to help improve and maintain NSRS. Research and reconnaissance before you go out in the field will save you time. The NGS Observe page contains recommended setup procedures and a step-by-step instruction method to ensure good results. Get your equipment, set it up properly, take photographs of the mark, close up enough so that you can read the stampings, as well as an eye level showing the equipment set up, but at eye level looking toward the horizon in a way that someone looking at that photograph would know they're in the right place. Set up a recommended fixed height tripod and brace the legs with sandbags or chain because you're going to be there a while. Verify antenna type, mount the antenna, attach cable, make sure that the antenna is oriented to north properly, attach the cables, verify your batteries, and then turn on the receiver and make sure it's logging data. My recommendation is 4.5 hours. That gives you a little bit of time on both ends in case there's some corruption. Then there's a mark recovery form. The method for reporting a recovered mark is this form. Whether found or not found or destroyed is valuable information to maintain the database. This is a screen capture of the mark recovery dashboard zoomed into Louisiana. It shows dots representing marks that have been recovered and reported. It's a cool place to see your own contributions. The OPA Share is the tool to submit and share the data for use by NGS to improve the transformation tool and the NSRS for years to come. Your data helps maintain the local ties to NSRS. The transformation tool will enable the conversions from our current vertical datums to the new datums of 2022. And it's pretty simple. You upload your data to Opus like you may have already done before. After entering and verifying the stuff, click on Options though, and in Options choose Yes, Share My Data. Now sometimes if you wish, you might want to run it through Opus and see that you get a good result, and then run it through a second time clicking the Yes Share. And that way you have more confidence that the data you're submitting is worthwhile. The GPS on Benchmarks dashboard illustrates the progress that's been made over time. The screen capture shows Louisiana is at 57% complete of the priority marks. Let's work together, get them all. Please consider helping out. If we work together and everybody contributes, we've got this. The presentations that follow will put meat on the bones of my invitation and provide more depth of understanding of the efforts and benefits to Louisiana coming in the new datum and what we need to do to prepare. Thank you.